Thank you, Sal, for bringing me out here in my home state of Rhode Island. Look at that. I get to do a conference in my home state. And I also want to thank Michael Hawley for bringing me out to EG, or else we would not have met. So, for sure. Yes, so I am an accordion player, or as some of you may know, an endangered species, for sure. But I'm involved in a lot of different other things, which we'll go over. I've never done a talk where I talk about some of the other crazy things that I do. Because accordion is just not enough to be, different and strange. Why not? Or that I have a flaming accordion. That's a whole other deal. Let's see. So to give you a little background of accordion history, because I don't think you guys probably maybe know so much on accordion history. The accordion came to the United States in 1909 in the fashion it's in now by Guido Darrow, and he made it very popular in the teens into the 20s. It was so famous that he actually married Mae West before Mae West was even famous. He helped her actually become famous. She was his opening act. And then the accordion died a little bit, was still somewhat popular, and then in 1949 Dick Contino got on the Horace Heidt show, which for you youngins, that was like American Idol at the time. In 1949, he became very popular, and the accordion was about the biggest instrument in the country in the early 50s. The guitar was way behind the accordion. Impossible to imagine today. And it was cooler to play accordion than it was to play guitar. And that progressed until rock kind of killed it, and that was the end of it. And we're still in this doldrums of accordion. What do you think of when you think of accordion? What's the genre of music? Polka, yeah, polka's the right answer. So, which you already said. So, that's kind of what we're more known as. Every time I get on a plane, what's that bag? It's an accordion. Can you play us a polka? I'm more known as a jazz musician, so I like to freak him out and play something completely different. So my dad played accordion back when it was popular. He took it out when I was 9, and I remember him the moment he said, "Do you want to play accordion?" And I like to, I'm Italian, like to make the parents proud. Okay, I'll play accordion. And so I did. And I progressed pretty quickly. So let's see if, let's start this line here. This was my first big gig. Does anyone remember the Warwick Musical Theater? The stage that used to spin around. So I was supposed to play one song for the beginning of the Lawrence. If you remember the Lawrence Welk show, yes, I was forced to, I was forced to watch it at my grandparents' house, even if the football game wasn't over by 7%. 7 o'clock, Lawrence Welk, and that was it. Had to watch Lawrence Welk, didn't know the next day. So this was a big thing for me to open, and Myron Florin, who was the accordion player there, actually got sick. So instead of playing one song to open up the show, they had me play 20 minutes, and this is my big first kind of show. And the hat I'm wearing, you can't see it, it's an Ayrton Senna hat, which gives you an idea of all these other things that I do. I was into racing way before I was into music. And when interviewers say, "Who was your inspiration?" Think I'm going to say a musician, according to I say Ayrton Senna, and they're like, "Oh, what did he play?" I say the gas pedal. He's a race car driver. So here we had that, and I kept progressing very, very quickly. Within 2 years, I played at the White House. For the Clintons as a little kid. My parents actually in the door there. And Bill took a liking to me, and I kept going back and playing at the White House many different times, and played a state dinner for the president of Hungary, who was there. Bill thought, "Oh, polka works. We'll have you play polka for the president of Hungary." It's kind of funny, but yeah, it did work. So this was going great. Now, the thing with connecting all the small worlds, something that is definitely true in all small worlds, which we know in Rhode Island, is always politics. Small world's not much space. And the thing with the accordion world, you have little territory for players, manufacturers, dealers, fixers, festivals itself. There's not many top players, even around the world, especially North America in general. So there's always a lot of politics involved. And how it works in accordion is very simply, you go to a studio, and they give you a 12-bass accordion, and within a couple of weeks they say, "You're doing fantastic. It's time for you to buy a bigger accordion." And then 6 months later, you barely progress. They say, "Well, you're doing so great, it's now time to buy a bigger accordion." And they were all part of one company, Titano. And my dad kind of saw this kind of going on, and he's like, "What's this? I don't like this." So he got Tullio Gasparini, who was kind of a legend in Rhode Island, out of retirement. I don't really know how he got him out of retirement. He is Italian, so I don't know. Came out of retirement. I was his only student. He played Sonola. So now you go to the ATAM, which is the New England Championships every year, and I was not part of a studio that everyone else was, and I was not playing Titano that everyone else was. So I immediately had this kind of rebel status, and I would lose competitions I thought I would win, and I always thought, is it because I'm not playing Titano? So that motivated me. I liked the challenge of having to be much better than second place for them to have to give me the win. And I think that had a lot to do with motive, because I'm always a competitive person. Music is kind of my sport because I was never good at sports, even though I love sports, so this is my only way. So there was the competition aspect. And that kind of continued on to the point where I eventually won 3 world championships on the accordion. The last of which is actually the little statue on the left, which is my most important one, that was an acoustic accordion. This is an electric accordion. The acoustic accordion is one you're more used to. And when I had won the digital one, people were like, oh, Cory, well, he doesn't play acoustic. He can only win the electric one. I was like, well, that's true. I don't really play much acoustic anymore. I started playing electric in '06 or something. And but that motivated me to say, I can still win an acoustic. So I won that, and then I promptly retired, or whatever you'd want to call it, from competition. Later, I needed some more accolades, so I won a Guinness World Record for playing the longest accordion, 32 hours of nonstop accordion music. That is not fun to listen to, I will tell you. Not fun. And the people at Guinness need the video, like we have cameras here. They need 2 camera shoot, and they have to watch the whole thing to make sure you didn't break any rules, you didn't stop too long, all these different things. So someone had to watch me play for 32 hours. Goodness, I don't know who. So I've been able to meet a lot of different people, Michael Bublé, Herbie Hancock, a jazz guy, Weird Al, you all know Weird Al. He's a very calm guy. On stage, he's crazy. You meet him, and he's just the calmest guy. It's very funny. Miss USA, who's teaching her some accordion. See if we can get her to play accordion. Accordion will be popular in no time. Quincy Jones and Jacob Collier. If you want stories, Saul, Quincy has more stories than you can. I had a 2.5-hour conversation with him. I had to change my whole view of history of music. He's got stories, and he's not afraid to tell them. What's that? So, that's kind of the very, very shortened version of my career, trying to make the accordion cool again. Someone did make me a hat, make accordion great again, the red, the everything. I can't wear it because accordion in America, a little too similar. So I love the hat, can't wear it. That would be terrible. Maybe if I go to Texas, that's about it. So one of my many things that I do love from outside the accordion, I was always obsessed with weather. I just always had an interest in it, specifically snow. But I've always felt if I'm going to do anything, even if it's just an interest, I've got to do something with it. I can't just be a fan of it. Even, just watching the Patriots, I came out with an article in 2006 saying Tom Brady's the greatest quarterback of all time. That was in '06. Took everyone 10 years to figure that out. I do that. I just love stats. I love, if I'm interested in something, it's got to be something there. So I started tracking snowfall, and this is just a quick shot of some of my data on my Excel spreadsheet all over the place. And I realized just a couple of years into this, at like 16 years old, I was like, something's strange with New England snow. We're getting more snow very recently. I wonder if this has to do with climate change, which I try to not say global warming, because it does mean we're getting more volatility, more snow. It doesn't just, we're getting warmer, but overall it means more volatility. So that was kind of into that. Then we came into what really got me known in the weather world, the 2005 hurricane season. This was going on. And I spent 300 hours every night till like 3 in the morning, my parents' dismay, doing data. And I came out with about a 25-page report on every record that the 2005 hurricane season had broken. And I sent that to the National Hurricane Center and the National Weather Service and AccuWeather, Weather Channel. And everyone's like, who's this? They'd Google me. Who's this accordion player sending us hurricane stats? What is this? This can't be the same guy. And this is what got me known, because a lot of people as MIT professors come out with all these lists of records, and my list was 3 times longer than anybody else's record, because I didn't want to just get the record. I want to get what did it break, and blah, 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 blah. So this is what got me kind of known in the weather world, which is a very strange thing. So also with this, I know all the TV meteorologists in Rhode Island. If you guys know TJ Del Santo, you know Tony Petrarca, Mark Searles, all those guys. I'm buddies with all of them. Sometimes we make bets on how much snow I'm going to get. That's a fun time. So I did an internship with TJ Del Santo at one time, back in 2008 or something like that. And they do watch sports while they're doing the weather, but and this is just us sort of during the time going over the models and everything, and I kind of learned more about how to do my own research on forecasting, because I'm not really a forecaster. I'm a stat guy. I just like having a storm happen or a baseball game happen, whatever, and then go, how historic is this? So that was kind of my interest. So I did internship here, and I made a music video, of course, why not? Then, when I give my snow reports, because I'm a National Weather Service spotter, I can train all of you how to correctly measure snow. Don't just stick the ruler in the ground. It's not how it works. You have to take a compact. Every 6 hours, you clear it, then you add the new total. So now we'll go into that. So when I give a weather report, usually I do something, this one has sound, usually I do something like this that they sometimes put on. So, so, and then one time that did get to I think it was that one that got to the Weather Channel, and this crazy accordion player gave us his 8 inches in Cumberland, Rhode Island, and also sent us his video while he's playing out in the snow. So if you talk about small worlds, the second smallest world I am a part of is if you are truly a snow fan. You are on the weather blogs. And this is where I don't even have to watch TV to know how much snow we're going to get. I'm just on the boards with all these, what we call snow weenies. If you're a total snow nut, you're called a snow weenie. And it's on mainly the American weather boards, and we're just tracking storms all the time. The chase of trying to find a storm is the exciting thing. While they're telling you we might have a blizzard next week, and you guys are like, I got to change my plans, I got to cancel this. We're all like, yes, we might get one. So to give you, this is something I can't believe I'm going to show, but I have to show you the excitement of this. I used to do, and sometimes I still do, a recording of myself looking at a model, in this case the GFS model, not to go into all the different weather models, and seeing a storm. I'll tell you about what happened after, but this is what we all do at like 2 in the morning when the 0Z models come out, when you guys are all sleeping and we're getting excited about snow. Let's see here.
You should look at the GFS, which I was 96. Oh, that's looking good for DC. Now it should stay there. 72. Oh, it's wrapping around. I'd feel terrible for Paul Cosin if he did not get this. Oh, redeveloping hit. That's nice. It's 78. Give me 84. Oh man, redevelop.
I mean, honestly, if someone said, Cory, I can get you to play a song at Madison Square Garden with Lady Gaga, or we'll give you a 2-foot blizzard, I'd take the 2-foot blizzard. That's what gets me excited. And all of us other snow nuts. So on the weather boards, I became so known that they actually created an emoji for me that you can use. And it moves. I just took the screenshots of it. It's a full, playing emoji. So when a storm looks good for me, instead of saying, this looks good for Northern Cumberland, they will just post that emoji. And that will mean Northern Cumberland looks pretty good for this storm. I mentioned Paul Cosin in that last video. Paul Cosin is like the Tom Brady of winter weather. He what used to be on the Weather Channel many years ago, for about 10 years, which is funny because the first storm he ever covered, he completely busted. But he kept the job. And he has become just the guy for winter weather, especially on the East Coast. He wrote what we call the Bible of winter storms. And when I was a kid, one of my dreams was to create a ranking system, right? We rank hurricanes, we rank tornadoes. I wanted to rank snowstorms. So I was coming up with different ideas to try to figure out how can we rank snowstorms. Well, Paul had already done that, and he's the best guy to do it. Created the NISA system. It's a post-ranking system. So like a tornado, you wait to see the damage and then you see, versus a hurricane, which you usually know before. So this is a really small world, the snow world. So it's like if he's your hero, you can just call him up on the phone and he's going to answer. It's not like this is not like if you were a fan of rap music and you can just call up, Chance the Rapper. You just know. This is the weather world, especially the snow world. You just call him up. He's a good buddy of mine. Almost saved my life one time coming back from Europe, and the tornado was in D.C., and I couldn't land, and I finally got there, and the flight back to Providence was canceled. I had driven from Vienna to Paris. I was ready, and he said, just come over, stay over at the apartment. So, good buddy of mine. And he's total snow weenie. During the 2014-15 season, which many of you may remember, when we had 4 major storms in 3 weeks, he flew up to Boston just to see the insanity. And I drove him around for a day, just going through any side streets where the cars were covered and stuff. So I gave him a snow tour of the area. But I told him, and this really happened, I had a gig, the car world, we'll get into that in a minute. I had a gig at a car dealership that was opening. And I said, Paul, I can't, you're going to have to just come with me because I can't like drop you off somewhere. I said, oh, no, that's fine. So I took him to a car dealership while he just slept in a conference room while I'm playing the gig. I was like, this is my life. I'm playing a gig at a car event with the god of winter weather sleeping in a conference room. My worlds clash a lot. This is kind of how it is. So, okay, now part of being a snow nut, this is the smallest world I am a part of, and that is the free sledding world. So we call it, this is me sledding off a roof, because this is 14-15 season too. Again, we had 40 inches of snow on the ground. It was insane. So we call it free sledding because professional sledding or high-end sledding, they all just sound stupid. So we call it free sledding, but it's also free sledding because mountains do not allow sledders, right? We can't go to the ski thing and like, oh yeah, I got my sled. Oh, sir, what is this? So we have to climb up mountains at our own risk and just free sled our way down. So this is what it's called. That sled is a Mad River Rocket. It's the only company, someone knows Mad River Rocket? Wow, 10 points for that guy. It's from Mad River Glen in Vermont. It's a company, he must be from there. It's a company that makes professional sleds. They're the only company that does it. And their head is actually in LA because it snows a lot in LA, I guess. But from Vermont, and this is, I know the company well, of course, because there's like 5 professional, quote unquote, top sledders that there are. So this is something I do. And everyone says, aren't you worried about your hands? I say, I feel like it's way more dangerous snowboarding or skiing than for me to be on the ground to worry about my hands. But sometimes I'll wear hockey gloves and all that stuff. So yeah, the free sledding world, very, very crazy. But not just if I'm going to free sled. I also, me and my buddy, made a sledding mountain. It's probably the only official sledding mountain that there is. It's in Rhode Island. It is a 128 trail mountain. That is just for sledding. Yeah, these are houses. It's in the woods. There's all kinds of cliffs and stuff. We have them all, blue, green, double diamond, single black diamond. We do all this stuff. So, and this is me, which trails need to be cleaned, which trails need to be, another Excel spreadsheet. I have too many Excel spreadsheets everywhere. Get you a little bit of what this is like, free sledding. I have never done this. Well, no, one time I did try to play and sled at the same time, which everybody thought that was hilarious. I did. It was not too fun. So that's a different kind of sled I use once in a while. Go into free sledding. Is this all there? It's not, we're not too crazy. You don't go too fast. Jumping off logs and stuff and things like that. This is, so again, whenever you think of snow and oh, I hate the snow, just think, well, Cory's having a great time. and it might just make it a little bit less terrible. A couple of these we have here. I think Nick crashed on that one. Yeah, he did crash on that one. Yeah, that was crazy, yeah. CN Mountain, Cory and Nick, that's kind of where we got it. So this is all on that map that you saw, CN Mountain. So along with this, when you're a snow nut, you're obsessive about your snowbanks. If anybody shovels where I do my shoveling, I go nuts. Because I'm like an artist with my snowbanks and such like that. So, it's, wait a minute, this is kind of snow, hold on, I got to shovel it this way. What kind of, I'm going to I'll go like 200 feet with one pile to put it on one specific pile. I'm kind of nuts about that stuff. So that's just all being a snow nut. Now we go into the car stuff. I've been, like I said, into cars since I was 2. My dad had me watch Formula 1 race. Michael Hawley, you mentioned something about Ricciardo sounding like in a Formula 1 name. That is true. We will get to Daniel Ricciardo, who is the Australian Formula 1 driver. So this is when I had Mario Andretti actually drive me around at Sonoma Raceway in California. He can still drive. Was he 84, I think? And I was in the 2-seater Indy car. So the car world and the racing world are different worlds, but the politics in the car world are very interesting that you have lots of rich guys that maybe just were obsessed with cars since they were kids. And you may have one hear about a historic, I know of a great story of a 275 4-cam Ferrari aluminum, which is probably worth $4 million, and one knew of a barn find. Maybe you guys have heard of the term barn find. And it was him and his friend were trying to find the car, and one found the car 6 hours before the other guy found it. It took like 6 months. And the guy beat him, and he probably made $3 million on the car and didn't give his buddy anything. It's because next time, maybe, the other guy will find it. It's a very funny world. But I'm just the accordion player at these car events. I go around, play many car events. I play many racing events as well. And sometimes my careers mix. The 24 Hours of Le Mans, you guys heard of the 24 Hours of Le Mans? Most of the stuff on your car came from innovations in this race. I went to play, classic Cory story, went to play for an American team, and I told the team, I'm probably going to be bored playing in the, champagne room for the guests after a while, so if you want me to be on the team, and they say, yeah, okay. Well, 2 hours into the race, he said, actually, we might need you to run tires. To which I said, what does that mean? So it meant I would when they have a pit stop, they put new tires on the car. Now there's 4 less tires in the new tire section. I would have to run up to Dunlop and get 4 new tires in my go-kart thing, the golf cart, and bring them back. I'd have to tell them the compound they wanted and everything else, air pressure, and then we bring it back. And I did this for the entire race. So I got to actually kind of be part of the racing world when I was supposed to be there for my actual career. Always trying to mix and match. This is Max Verstappen, who's pretty much the best driver in the world now. Known him since before he's anyone. This is Daniel Ricciardo, Michael Hawley, if you remember the name, playing this accordion. He's one of the most famous people in Australia. The what?
I wouldn't trust that guy to slide me open like a fish.
Yeah, just a great race car driver. I do stuff at the Indy 500. I play private events there. That's me being on the podium, being very excited. I mentioned Guido Darrow was the man who brought accordion to America in 1909. This is his son, Guido Darrow Jr., who sadly just died a couple of weeks ago, and I became close with him. He was one of these Renaissance men that I've never known one person that has done so much in his life. One of the things, he was Howard Hughes' pilot back in the day. And he did everything, not to mention being son of Guido Darrow. And he was a big car nut, so he brought me, and we did some racing stuff there. So I'm always mixing and matching. This is a Formula One book I am creating. Bill James, he created the new data of how to do baseball statistics. I have always felt the way we judge and rank race car drivers is incorrect, and we're not talking about luck as much. Because at least there's some luck, of course, in all sports, but in racing, you can lead the whole race and your engine craps out with 2 turns to go, and on the stat sheet it says you got 20th when you should have won the race. So I'm trying to redistribute all kinds of stats. There's just one little quick thing of it, and I'm trying to do a book. Like I said, all my hobbies, I try to do something in that hobby, not just be a fan of it. Even on video games. I won't play a video game unless I'm going to try to become something at it. I do some articles for Mesh Magazine on Formula One, talking about that. So, and Indy 500, which I went to. Speed Channel, which used to have Formula One races. I used to do music for Speed Channel because my main skill, I would say, as a musician is the fact that if someone says, Cory, can you make up said genre? Just 20 seconds of it with no copyright, just make it up. I can do that, and on these accordions, the electrics, I can record it on the USB and send it in and done. So they would do that. We'd say, Cory, we had a commercial, we don't have the music. Can you send us a French clip, 20 seconds, just send it right now, and I'd do it, and they'd throw it on. So I'm trying to do that more with other channels, but I don't know enough context, because usually they just get it from libraries. So I can just improvise stuff. 98.5 The Sports Hub. Any sports fans that listen to 98.5 go on here in Boston? I do music with them once in a while, connecting my sports love and the music career. Did a TED Talk at Fenway Park. I've done music. Fenway, they came out with an album in 2012, which was funny because that year they were terrible. The 100th anniversary of Fenway, and they did a CD, and I was one of the people on it with the Dropkick Murphys. I was the accordion player. And Dustin Pedroia was on it, different people on it. So I'm always trying to clash my careers. This was the one time I had 2 clashes in my careers that had nothing to do with the accordion. They had a sledding event at Fenway. So I called my contact at the Red Sox, said, can I bring my own sled? And like, I want it, because the sleds you have are just those stupid air things. I said, I have a professional sled. I would like to bring that. So I did, and I went sledding. I went, quote unquote, free sledding at Fenway Park. That was a funny moment in my life for sure. Just at Long Beach, I played for the Andretti's there down in the pits. This is me. Oh yeah, that's in there. That's after Super Bowl 51. I had to fly through Atlanta, so I made sure I I dressed accordingly after that Atlanta comeback. Sports stats that I do. I'm just crazy about stats. So I would say as like trying to relate it to what you guys do, all different things and amazing things. I'm just a random accordion player from Rhode Island. But the success I've been able to have is I've become very accomplished in what I do with the accordion. And because that's such a strange, small world, when I go into these other worlds, I'm not threatening. When I go hang out with Red Bull, they're not worried I'm trying to take someone's engineering job or someone's racing job. I'm just the accordion player. So if you get really accomplished in one small world, you're just unique to all these other worlds. And if you just show enthusiasm that, you saw them with the snow stuff or anything else, you can use it as a great way to become successful in everything else. Thank you guys so much for your time on this.